Okay, welcome, folks. Um, yeah, nice to see the names. Okay, I will. Let's sit. Let's sit. Let's just imagine it was you, not me, guiding this meditation. And let's imagine that you were deeply at ease, no social pressure amidst friends. You're amidst friends. But you had to decide how to guide. And you know many techniques, but you're actually, in deciding how to guide us all, having to really contact the field of your own experience to find where the inspiration is, where the aliveness is in you. Is guiding a meditation a little like narrating one's experience in a way that is hopefully useful for another. And so as we begin, just gently scan your experience to see where the inspiration is, where the aliveness is, which phenomena are useful for you to pay attention to right now. And maybe it's the breath or the body, a feeling tone, or objects of the mind. But maybe it's something no one's ever heard of before. Letting your own wisdom shape your attention in this moment. Receiving your own wisdom. When you have your sincerity, the rest is really details. When you want to know something, when you want to know experience, the rest is details. When you're willing to be softened rather than hardened by experience, the rest is details. letting the world blow through awareness. It's wide open, receptive, nothing for phenomena to clank into. Phenomena clank into the solidification of self, clank into solidification of clinging, and we relax. Open. We don't have to catch and cage some thought, feeling, sound. Like a sieve way to open to hold anything. Including what you call your life. And then, of course, something clanks into self, clanks into clinging. We hear the sound of suffering, but there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. We were designed to suffer, and we were designed to be free. Just letting life run through you. Okay, it's good to sit with you. I hope you did a good job imaginarily guiding that meditation in my stead. Faith, energetic vigor, mindfulness, mindfulness. Oh my goodness, that word. Nietzsche said words are like pockets into which many things have been placed, and mindfulness is most definitely a pocket into which many things have been placed. And sometimes it's used as a kind of placeholder for all of the Dharma, sort of like all these different concepts smuggled under the umbrella of that word. And other times, attempts to kind of monetize mindfulness and make it change its meanings too. It's been made more compatible with greed, hatred, and delusion in some depictions of it, I would say. Sometimes I've thought that understanding mindfulness is not the starting point of practice, but the fruit of practice. That we don't, of course, we have to begin with a definition of mindfulness, but to know what that is not actually where we start, but where we wind up. So classically from the Satipatthana Sutta, what's right mindfulness? Here a monastic dwells contemplating the body and the body, ardent, clearly comprehending, mindful, having removed covetousness and displeasure with regard to the world. And there's a lot to say about that, but one of the things I want to note is that there are multiple dimensions of the construct. It's not just narrowly one feature. It's right. It's contemplating body or feeling and feeling, ardent, clearly comprehending, having removed covetousness and displeasure. There's a lot of facets of mindfulness. And so what I thought, okay, I have 15 minutes to talk about mindfulness. A lot that one might say, but I thought to highlight this dimension that, to my mind, mindfulness describes a state nearly diametrically opposed to the hallmarks of distress. Yeah. That what mindfulness depicts is like really almost the opposite from the kind of characteristics that are shared by many different states of distress, may we say suffering. And so obviously suffering, distress comes in a million flavors, but there are shared characteristics across a range of states of distress. And when I was reflecting on this, it was able, can name a few features. So in states of distress, generally, not always, generally, thoughts become absorbing and imposing. Thoughts feel really real. They feel like the realest thing in the world. And we know rumination, the kind of like chewing, that embeddedness in thought bubbles, is known as like a transdiagnostic risk factor. So for a range of different states of distress, psychiatric compromise, rumination is a risk factor. In states of distress, the kind of space of experience narrows, a kind of claustrophobia. In states of distress, our attention becomes fragmented. It's pinging from memory to present moment, emotion, physical sensation, to prognostications about the future. It's very unstable, in the kind of field of experience. In distress, there tend to be alterations in physiological arousal. We tend to be really flat or hyper-aroused, or we're a blend of kind of frozen and then super impulsive. In states of distress, there tends to be a lot of experiential avoidance, meaning a kind of unwillingness to make full contact with one's inner life, kind of bracing and guarding, patrolling the inner landscape to see what's safe and what isn't. There are often compromises in distress tolerance, so the unpleasant features of any human life become especially distressing, especially sticky. The pain is pain. These difficulties tend to be deeply personalized. So when we're really distressed, it's like that distress becomes a commentary on one's life, one's worthiness, one's being. In states of distress, there tends to be rigidity in the predictive models, the ways that we are using this moment to make predictions about the trajectory, the vector of our life. And there's a kind of failure to learn and revise the models. Our models of self and world become impervious to new information. In states of distress, we're not learning what's important to learn. We're suffering, but we're not learning about suffering. So that's a very vague kind of sketch of like some of the shared features of distress, a wide range of distress states. Okay, what are the hallmarks of mindfulness? A reduction in experiential fusion, like a reduction, this metacognitive awareness. We are no longer living within the bubble defined by that thought. This is another way of saying there's a kind of de-reification. Thoughts, feelings feel less real. In other words, they feel less, they are no longer these pure descriptions of the state of the world, true descriptions of the state of the world, the state of the self. They become less real, yeah, or maybe they become more infused with space. Phenomena become less intimidating. And that phrase from the Satipatthana, putting down covetousness and displeasure, this is really, I would say, related to equanimity, a kind of a conjoined factor with mindfulness, sati, this kind of non-interference with the arising and passing of phenomena. In mindfulness is a state of distress tolerance. It's a state where we're not so intimidated of those pockets of our inner life that are charged with affect. We can approach what was once avoided. These are hallmarks of mindfulness. The mindfulness, there is attentional stability in mindfulness. That's different. That's not exactly the same as samadhi, which we'll talk about tomorrow. But there's at least a modicum of attentional stability. We're not pinging around everywhere. And there are many regulatory benefits of this stabilized, malleable, unified attention. Is a hallmark of mindfulness, the opposite of distress. In mindfulness, we are draining the moralism from our inner life, what we took to be a sign about who we are, about our worthiness or something, no longer points to anything or anyone. It's phenomena blowing through. And so there's less and less room for the moralism about what we think or feel about what arises in the field of experience. There is in mindfulness a kind of hypo egoic state. The energy and tension of self is relaxed. And in this kind of this receptivity, the self is not really home base. It's just, there's just, okay, wide open. And in that openness, we're not really making a home anywhere, but we're awake. And so, so many ways to suffer, features, these shared features of distress. And the facets of mindfulness are the facets of mindfulness represent a kind of diametric opposite of those hallmarks of distress. So offer this for your consideration, and yeah, may we learn about the causes of suffering, the causes of ease today. Okay, folks, it's good to be with you, and see you tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.